what type of sequence are these three? If they're geometric, then what is the common ratio? And also give us the next two terms. This one, does it have a common ratio, which we call R, or does it have a common difference? Are we multiplying by something each time, or are we adding something each time? Well, what you see here is it looks like we're doubling each time. So that is called a common ratio. So this one is geo, kind of abbreviates good enough, geometric. My common ratio, well, how do I find the ratio? Well, some of you just notice it's multiplied by 2, but all you do to get the common ratio is take this one, divide by that one. Take the second one, divide by the first. Or could I take the third, divide by the second? Doesn't really matter, as long as it's common. So your common ratio is 2, it's geometric, and it also asks for the next two terms. So what's going to come next after 12? Well, after 12, if we double that, what's going to be? It'll be 24. And if we double that, what comes next? 48. This is your fourth term and your fifth term in the sequence. Number 2. Oh, is it arithmetic or geometric? Are we adding something or multiplying something? If I look at that, from here to here, it looks like I added 4, and I added 4 again. I'm not multiplying by anything. I'm adding. So this one's arithmetic, and it has a common difference of what's negative 2 minus negative 6 looks like it's 4. I added 4 each time. And then if I'm adding 4 each time, what's my fourth and fifth term? Well, my fourth term is that if I add 4 to 2, that'd be 6. If I add 4 to 6, that'd be 10. And number 3, arithmetic or geometric? Let's see. Looks like to me we're dividing by a number. I see I'm dividing by 3. So if I'm dividing by a number, isn't this going to be geometric? And if it's geometric, don't I have a common ratio? Which means I'm going to take this number, the negative 30, divide by the 90. And isn't multiplying by negative 1/3 the same as dividing by negative 3? Yeah, multiplying by negative 1/3 is the same as dividing by negative 3. And my next two terms, if I multiply this by negative 1/3, or divide it by 3, what's 10 divided by 3? It's simply 10/3. But I'm dividing by a negative 3, so will that become a negative 10/3? Yes. And then, don't I divide this by 3 again? Now, for some of you, dividing by 3 is a little confusing, but could I just multiply this by negative 1/3? What's negative 10 times negative? What's negative 10/3 times negative 1/3? That's what we're doing for this next number. Negative 10 times negative 1 is positive 10. What's 3 times 3? 9. There's my next number. This is my fourth. This is my fifth number. Okay. Number 4. Write an equation, also called a rule, for the sequence. Since this has an R, do you understand it's geometric? It has the first term and it has R. And then I want to generate the first 5 terms. So the rule, if you look right here, here's the rule. What we need is A0 and R. I have R, right? How do I find A0? Well, wouldn't that be the term before this? The term before this, well, if I'm multiplying by negative 3 this way, aren't I going to divide by negative 3? So wouldn't that be negative 2 over 3? You take 2, divide by negative 3, that would be my 0 term. So my rule is going to be A0, which is negative 2/3, R, which is negative 3, N. That's my rule. Now, with that rule, could I find the first 5 terms? Yes. But isn't it easier to really probably just do this? If my first term's 2, okay, that's my first term. I want my second, my third, my fourth, and my fifth. My fifth term. Is it easier to plug in this formula, or is it easiest just to multiply by 3? Negative 3. Isn't it a lot easier just to, that's my first term. What's the next one going to be? Why don't I just multiply by negative 3? So won't that be negative 6? Multiply this by negative 3, what's that give you? Isn't that 18? Multiply this by negative 3. Oh, that's a little bit harder. 18 times negative 3 is negative 54. And 54 times 3 is 162. Now, again, all I did is I kept multiplying the previous number by negative 3. Now, could I technically, let's find the third term. If I wanted to find the third term, could I technically have gone, A3 equals negative 2/3 times negative 3 to the third? If I want the third term, don't you plug in 3 here? Which, that would give me negative 2/3, and negative 3 to the third, isn't that negative 27? And isn't that over 1? So wouldn't that be, looks like 54 divided by 3, and 54 divided by 3, isn't that 18? Doesn't that match? Isn't that a lot more work, though? Yeah. I could get my third term by plugging in the formula, but it's a lot easier just to multiply by negative 3 and keep the pattern going. Do it the easier way.